Welcome to It Starts With Courage podcast with Kat and Jen. What is it? It's everything. Everything you want in life starts with courage. We're back. We're back. We're back. I thought there was a song that was We're Back, but I couldn't remember it.
I think there is one, but now that you said it, I can't think of that.
No. Isn't it Backstreet Boys I'm thinking? I don't know.
I have no idea, but this is getting off to a rough start.
How you been?
Good. We're going to talk about your show that you did.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And you came all the way out. You drove 4.5 hours in a crazy storm.
I did. And I saw more butts than I ever cared to see again.
So tell me, what's one thing you saw there that you were just like, oh my gosh? Well,
first of all, before I tell you that, I have to tell you a funny story of what happened when I got there. Right?
Uh-huh.
So I had gotten a link from you on where to buy the tickets online. So I bought the tickets online thinking like I would just show them the thing on my phone, like you're getting into the show, right?
Yeah.
And so I walk up and we're one of the first people there because we're like super worried about like, where are we going? Like, are we going to get lost? We don't want to be late. I don't know how these things work.
It was perfect for me. That white people timing came in perfect because Jen was front and center, got me all my content that I needed.
Yes. Yeah. So I get there and they're like set up at the table and they're like, okay, what is your name? And I was like, what? Like, I bought a ticket online. Why are you asking me my name? Like, I'm not part of the show. As you can tell, like, I'm not part of the show. And they're like, no, we just need your name to look up your ticket on our list. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Like,
plus, you were the wrong color at the time. So here's what I used to think. Whenever I used to watch bodybuilding competitions, I used to be like, wow, there's a lot of Black people who do this, but it's the tan sometimes. Some people look.
Oh, yeah, really tan.
Yeah, super tanned.
One thing I did learn is the tans, they leak. They like when the guys, mostly the guys, maybe one or two of the girls, but mostly the guys, when they were up there under those lights and they started sweating, their tan started like dripping down their chest. And I mean, it was nice to look at.
Oh my goodness. I remember because you came with a Julie.
Yeah.
And I just laughed so much when she said, I sent my husband a picture and I said, look at what you're missing out on. It was such a good, it was definitely a great experience. If everybody could go through it, I would say they should try it at least once. It's such an amazing challenge. And by the time you get up on stage, it's not even about the competition aspect of things. It's the fact that you're getting up on stage and you went through this entire journey and you're about to show off what you did. And regardless of how you look, you will be so proud of yourself for sticking to such a regimen.
Well, and there was some 50, they had a master class. They had a 53-year-old woman and a 55-year-old woman up there.
Yep.
And they were working it. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to get up and do what you did. Like how far, when you think about what you did and like getting up there in a bikini, butt hanging out,
man,
like, how far is this out of your comfort zone? Like if your comfort zone is 1 to 10 and like 1 being like me, 0 comfort zone of doing this, and 10 being like, yeah, this is in my wheelhouse, but it's like at the far end. Like, how would you rank it? Like
10 plus, like 10 times 10. That's where I would rank
way
it.
Out.
I think and one thing I definitely say I learned a lot about myself during the process. I've always been very uncomfortable with coming across as sexual or anything regarded as sexy. And I think just based on, I mean, I don't know what it's based on. I think like growing up, I've always had this big butt. Even as a little kid, you would hear adults comment on it. And I just saw it as a negative thing. And to a certain extent, I think my background is African. And for some reason, across different African cultures, being sexy is frowned upon. So I struggled a lot because big butts are attributed or automatically with being sexy. So for a long time, I spent a long time trying to hide this. I can count the amount of times I've been in a bikini. One, before I was 25, I've never been in a bikini. You would really full swimsuit, and that's probably once every 5 years or something like that. And I would have something wrapped around me. Then as I started Instagram, I started, I remember Buff Bunny sent me some swimsuits. They had a swimsuit launch. My first year working with them, I took pictures of the swimsuit on the bed to advertise them. I didn't put them on. The next year, I put them on, and the photographer I worked with was just amazing. It's other people just hyping you up like, yes, yes. And as society has changed where it's now not glorified, but it's this amazing thing to have this shapely, I've struggled coming to like it, but not just view it as something just sexual. It's just part of a look, of a shape.
It's amazing. Like, I'm going to go off topic just a little bit, but it's amazing what you just said, like somebody else pumping you up and giving you that confidence.
Yeah.
I'm going through that with my daughter right now. She's a freshman, and we just learned that homecoming, like, we're late to the party. Like, it's the third week of school. We're late to the party of like getting a dress. And so we went on our first like homecoming dress shopping trip, and she's trying on these dresses, and she's very much like you. Like, she's doesn't like tight fitting things, form fitting. And she was trying on these dresses, and I'm like, that looks like really good on you. And she's totally uncomfortable. And so later on in the day, we're getting frustrated. We're trying on a lot of dresses. Like, one she likes, I don't think look great. When I like, she's uncomfortable in. And later that night she texted me and she's like, I sent my friends some pictures of the dresses, and I'm willing to reconsider my rejection of the tight dresses. They told me that I'm slaying.
I'm slaying. Oh.
And I was like, well, first of all, super proud of your friend group for, giving you that confidence, and super proud of you for texting me that you would reconsider.
Yeah.
But I asked her, I was like, babe, like, I told you, you looked good in them. She's like, but you're my mom.
Yeah.
You're telling me, like, you have to be nice to me and tell me. So just like, I don't know, when you said like the photographer, like, pumping you up, I mean, we all need those people in our lives that are going to
pump us up like that. Like, I can relate to that. I remember, my sister raised me, and my sister would take me and my niece shopping, and she would pick out these cute things. And as you're going through puberty, things are changing. You're not used to any of it. And I used to loathe the changing room because I would put these things on. Sometimes they don't fit quite right, or they fit too tight. And even if they fit right, she'd be like, oh, these look great. And I'm just like, oh, I just felt uncomfortable. But, as Bailey would say, you're my mom. It's kind of like, oh, you're my sister. You're supposed to say this, So you end up with these things that I would never wear. And I don't know. It's just when you get those people who do pump you up like that. Like, I had some clothes I bought maybe when I first arrived here. I would say it's at least 4 years ago now. There was a particular dress. I wore it once, and I remember the dress was riding up my legs, and I felt so uncomfortable. Like, I felt like, just for a lack of a better word, this whore. I know this sounds so extreme, but that's how I felt. Then my sister visited recently, and I wore the same dress. I was 2 weeks out from competition, and I had never seen my legs look the way that they looked. And this dress was, as you're walking, riding up. And I was saying to myself, heck here, ride up, dress. Show those legs. But in terms of comfort zone, going back to that, it was way out of my comfort zone. But I am so glad I did it.
Okay. There's got to be, we talked about this after, so
yeah,
we kind of planned a little bit, but like, let's talk about the top 4 or 5 things that you're like, I wish I would have known. Like,
yes, I have a number 1, the tanning. Number 1, I didn't think I would be getting tanned.
Right.
Because I'm already chocolate. And, I was just, but of course, I will say this, the tan helps. The tan helps you to just look even and, for a lack of a better word, clean. So you get tanned the night before. You can't put any lotions, any deodorant. So some of us wear,
all right.
You get tanned, and then just before you go on stage, you get glazed, which is where you basically oil you up, right?
Okay.
So anyway, with this tanning, as I'm walking into this tanning thing, I was thinking, okay, well, one, I wasn't sure. First, I was like, do I wear underwear and, undergarments? Nope. The answer is no. It's a no.
It's a completely
It's a no. So you walk in, like I walked into this room and I just thought, okay, maybe it would just be you and one person. You go into a room and no, there were like 6 tents next to each other. Then there's another tent that's sort of at the front of the room where they spray people in. You walk into your tent, you just have to stand there naked while they prepare you for the tan. This is all the women.
Oh my gosh.
Then when you have to get tanned, you have to walk past everybody in your butt naked status and get sprayed.
Oh my god.
Spread leg, everything. Yes. That was an experience. Like I saw so many different lips. Not that I should have been looking for. Yeah,
You're not supposed to be looking.
You're not supposed to be looking, but
like being in the group shower, you're not supposed to look.
I'm sorry, but it was, man. Yeah, that's definitely number 1. Number 2.
So if you're thinking about doing this,
should know.
Prepared to be naked for your tan.
Yes.
In front of people.
Yes.
Or make other preparations.
Yes,
somehow.
or tan yourself. You can tan yourself, or get somebody who you trust to tan you. Going in, money plays a big role. Now, number 1, it depends on if you're working with the coach or not. Your coach will have their own fee. Whatever fee you're paying a coach, or that doesn't include any of the rest of the fees for competition.
Like entry fee,
all of that. So like, depending on what organization you are competing in, you have to pay a registration fee. That's to get a registration card with them. That can be close to $300. Then you can compete in multiple classes. So whether you're a newbie or whether you're whatever you are, you can compete in all the classes you want. Each one of those can be about $125 each.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then if you're traveling, just like, I had to travel, I went a day or 2 ahead of time. That's 4 nights in a hotel. That's more money. So I would say the weekend probably cost like.
And then your suit.
And then the suit. Oh boy, the suit. So the suits can be expensive. I've seen some people buy suits up to $800, but you know me, I'm a money saver. So I was lucky to get my suit partly, it was discounted. There was no sponsorship at the time. It was discounted. So I managed to get my suit for like $200, which is still expensive because who buys a bikini for $200?
Yeah, where are you going to wear that to again?
Exactly. I heard people resell them, but after the way that they're stuck onto, I don't know about buying a secondhand.
I know. I don't think I would want to buy. It's like buying somebody else's underwear.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Thongs.
And I don't know how well you can wash that because of the rhinestones. So
don't.
Yeah.
Just don't do it, people.
I know. I mean,
get
people
your
do
own
it.
splurge.
People
Splurge
do
on
it.
your own suit, your new suit.
People do it. Connections.
Immediately no.
Immediately no. My third thing would be connections matter. And I say connections matter in that as you go through this process, I remember I didn't want to say a single thing to anyone about doing the competition because I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to fail, one, how it's actually going to go. And two, you know, I don't know. I just wanted to keep it on the low. But it matters. I don't want to say it matters who you know within the organization, but to an extent, I almost feel like it does. Because there's some people who are well known. I don't know that there can then be some bias. I don't know. That's just something I felt. But on the positive side, connections are good. It's good to make connections with anyone you can, you can always learn something new from anyone. Even minutes before the show, I was learning so much from other girls who were there, who've done it before. Other people just telling you how they went about their journey. You know, you can do your own preparation and be planned and what so on and so forth. But you never know what you can learn from somebody. Somebody can always give you some good advice. And at the end of the day, with those connections, what matters the most in these competitions, you may have the biggest muscle. You may be the most leaned out in terms of cutting fat. But if you don't know how to pose and you can't show off your work, it does not matter. So posing, connection, I guess posing and connections would be one and the same because these people tell you more about posing, what judges are looking for, things like that matter.
Yeah, I kind of felt like in the girls' divisions, I could like, as a first time spectator, I could kind of say, okay, I think these are going to be the top one or two. Mm-hmm. But for the men, like it was so hard, and I was like, all these guys are like ripped, and it matters like how tall they are because they look different.
Yeah.
Like some of the taller ones, just the muscle sits on them differently.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, like, I don't know what the criteria is that these judges are looking at, but like that, some of the guys, it was really difficult to like say who is better or whatever. Yeah.
And I think like some of them, and I think maybe that's where it really comes down to with the posing in the guys, and that if you really don't know how to, they look for muscularity, they look for what's it called? Muscle balance, like how symmetrical are you? They look for tonedness and all kinds of stuff. But if you don't know how to show that off, your work kind of goes down the toilet. So get connected and learn how to pose. Two more. Okay, I would say one thing I didn't know going into this is the respect for food I would get, as well as respect for my body. I became extremely protective over my body and what I put into it as fuel. I think even though I've always been an intuitional eater, I would just eat what I like and, you know, sort of moderate it here and there. But I really learned how some things you really don't need and do not damage necessarily, but if you have a fitness goal, they are not going to get you there. Our bodies are so capable, and food, including carbs, I did not realize how amazing carbs are for you. And I think most of us are so used to hearing bad carbs. And even though there's this culture on social media right now to say, yeah, carbs are good, nobody actually understands why and or how our body utilizes them. So the learning opportunities I've had during the process it will change you. It will change you, your approach to food and just how you take care of your body. I don't care who it is. It will change you. 100%. It will change you. The first couple of weeks are hard to get into the routine, but once you're in it and you see the changes, you understand and you actually follow, first of all, the plan. There's no going back. I thought after this, I was like, I'm going to go back to eating what I wanted and blah, 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 blah. Absolutely not. And your body will tell you no.
Wow.
I looked forward to eating vegetables, rice, and meat. That's it. Crazy.
Well, okay, your fifth thing, we're going to talk about that post-show meal.
Yes.
What's about that?
Well, one, Jen brought me the one thing I was dreaming about, which is my Starbucks cakes, the banana bread and the lemon loaf. If you haven't been there or had any one of these, you need to. What I like about the banana bread is it's not naturally sweetened, but it's more sweetened by the banana. So it's not too sweet. And neither is the lemon pound cake. So I say. That was good. But the post meal, we sat down and we ordered. Now, listen, guys, these people, I ordered, 2 appetizers? What?
Yeah.
2 appetizers, and then I ordered a burger and fries. These people had the audacity to bring me cold fries and a barely warm burger. As soon as I got it, I picked it up and I said to the waiter, I am so sorry. I have waited way too long for this to be lukewarm.
Send it back.
Yes. Take it back, and they ate it. But overall, that food never tastes the same. You don't enjoy it in the same way. I didn't finish all of it, but also afterwards, the next day, I would say during the prep is the best I've ever felt mentally and physically. Just there was nothing wrong. I often complained about allergies, blocked sinuses. Didn't complain about that the entire time. The sleep I had has just been tremendous. The next day after I woke up, the entire weekend, my head just felt clouded. I had this nasal drip, this mucus. It wasn't like, I think next, if I do it again, which I may, which I will, that post-workout meal would look a lot different.
Wow.
It would look a lot different. I think eventually, obviously, I will still eat a burger and fry. But when I would have burgers and fries as part of a cheat meal within the plan, it was received differently. It wasn't in combination with sugars and cakes and all of this. So I think I've learned that I can still have all these things, but I don't need to have it all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would say.
Well, you looked great.
Thank you.
You should be super proud of yourself. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you so much for just coming to support me. Like, do you guys remember that there was an episode that we did called I Got You? And Jen showing up was, to me, her saying, I got you. She was there the entire time. Like, it's not even like your fitness is your thing or so, but that was an 8 to 5.
It was an 8 to 5. Yeah.
It was an 8 to 5. So it's amazing to have people like that in your life who would drive close to 5 hours and sit an entire day to cheer you on stage for 2 minutes.
Yep. Anyway, if you're thinking about doing something out of your comfort zone, hopefully these tips have pumped you up and made you realize like this is something that you can do and that you should just go for it.
And even if it's not this, I think I would like to close out by saying, if you have something you've ever wanted to do, something that's on your bucket list, and you've always had an excuse why not to go for it, go for it. When I started this was because Jen invited her trainer, who's a bodybuilder, and helped to coach me along this journey. I was so inspired by her in that moment.
You said yes.
Yeah. I just said, I'm going to start now. And I made that decision in that moment on that Tuesday. And that Monday, I was starting. So start now. Don't wait. Life is too short.
Peace. Thanks for listening to this episode of It Starts With Courage podcast with Kat and Jen. If you like this episode of the podcast, visit our website, iswcpodcast.com, for show notes and other cool things.